Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, this is probably the last video I'm going to do talking about Ironheart. I'm not a huge fan. I don't particularly know much about the character. I saw her in Wakanda Forever. I think I can't remember if she was in the first one. I watched the two back to back, and I know she was in the films. I can't remember if she was in both. But the series is getting a lot of criticism, and it does seem, well, they made it a couple of years ago. It has been held over. It does seem a little bit out of touch with what's sort of happening at the moment. And this, I think, some real criticism of the character and how they're portraying the character. But one thing that keeps on coming up, which drives me nuts because it's just so wrong, is the whole Tony Stark built his Iron Man, suit in a cave. Why does she need millions of dollars? This whole, he was a millionaire. That's why he was Iron Man and why he, is who he is and he's iconic. And that's not really accurate. They're saying that, but actually they're wrong. I mean, I just watched Iron Man a couple of weeks ago, and he didn't build that suit in a cave. He built a suit in a facility when he was being held hostage, and they gave him resources. So he had resources to work with. He had a little, primitive lab, and the Iron Man suit he made was enough to get him out of the building to escape with, but it wasn't the Iron Man suit that he uses in the films. It was this primitive thing, and it didn't even work properly. He crashed and he would have died. Let's just be real. If he'd been in that suit for real, he would be dead. He flew up into the sky and then landed. He would have died. It's that simple. And with the other Iron Man suits, supposedly, I guess, I'm assuming, I've never heard it mentioned, but they'd have to have some sort of shock absorption, some sort of dampening sort of shield or something that would stop him from being impacted by impacts. Otherwise he would be killed. All the times he crashes and survives, no human would survive that in a metal tin, basically. So if he really had built that suit the way he did and flew up into the sky, he'd be dead. So all the people saying, oh, he did all that on his own in a cave with nothing, it's not true. He had decades of research and knowledge and training. He had his own lab that he went back to and built the real suit after having built the primitive one to escape with. But had he really built that suit, he would have died, if they were being realistic. So anyone saying that, he didn't benefit from being a millionaire, that he didn't have advantages that she doesn't have, that, he didn't require all those resources to be who he is just, I was going to say being factually, dishonest or whatever, but I mean, this is fiction. But in that fictional world, that's very clear. It's all on screen, and the fact that people are trying to play that down and act like, oh no, he built the Iron Man suit in a cave with no resources because he's just awesome and she's just not. It's just racism. It's just people hating on a character because they're diverse and they're just trying to look for reasons to undervalue, undermine, that character, and that's what they're doing now. Is she a good character? I'm not sure. I don't really like the idea of them stealing to make the suits and to get money. I don't know how they're sort of managing this character who seems to be a criminal, and someone did point out she does seem to be on a villain arc, and I'm not going to go for it, but the idea that she could turn out to be like this anti-Avengers team or something that was created in the comics or something is interesting, but it's just, why is this character doing bad and immoral things and still being portrayed as a hero? I don't get it. And they do trash Iron Man all the time. That's true. That's one of the criticisms of the show, always trashes Iron Man. But the excuse they use for resenting him isn't that far from the truth. He did have privilege, he did have money, and I guess she's assuming she doesn't because of discrimination and systematic racism. And that's why she's got a chip on her shoulder. But she does have a chip on her shoulder, and it's not flattering. It's not fun to watch someone with a chip on their shoulder going around doing things out of spite and resentment that are morally wrong and justifying it by playing the victim. So there are issues with the character. I think there are legitimately issues with the character in the show, and that people are valid to criticize. But then there's also these haters who just hate it because it's a black woman and she's, leading a show, and they don't want that because they want black people, black women, to stay down and beneath them because they think they're superior and they're afraid of not being the top of the food chain. So there is that. So there's a lot of factors here, but I just wanted to comment on that one factor, just to be another video pointing out that no, he didn't build the Iron Man suit in a cave with no resources. He built a primitive Iron Man suit in a lab with resources, and it wouldn't have saved him. He would have died. And, you know, they have a point. The characters who go on about his wealth and privilege have a point. But then they go steal stuff, so they undermine anything they've got to complain about. So it's all a bit of a mess. I just wanted to comment on it, but I don't think I'm going to comment again. I probably won't watch the series. I don't find it that interesting, and I haven't really done the series. I've just been watching the movies. I haven't really engaged with the Marvel series. I only watched WandaVision, and that's it. It's too much homework, and it's too much. And I'm just going to leave it there.